Ever walk through one of those farm equipment trade shows?
Oh, yeah.
You know, rows of those shiny tractors,
Yeah.
massive combines.
Yeah.
It's impressive, right?
That's wild.
But imagine if you're not just admiring it.
Yeah.
Imagine you're the one helping the farmers choose what they need,
Right.
picking out the perfect piece of equipment.
Yeah.
That's the everyday life of an agricultural machinery and equipment rental service representative.
It really is.
And it's more than just like, here's your tractor, see you later.
It really is a fascinating job.
Yeah, what's your take on it?
Yeah.
Because this is a deep dive request. Somebody really wants to understand this whole world.
Yeah. And, it's becoming more and more crucial, I think.
Oh, really? Why that?
Well, you've got equipment costs are rising like across the board.
Right.
And sustainability is a bigger and bigger concern.
Of course, yeah.
And technology, everything's changing so fast.
So renting equipment kind of keeps farmers adaptable.
Exactly.
They're not stuck with some,
$100,000 piece of equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
That may be outdated in 2 years.
Okay, so we've got career guides and interview tips and all that kind of stuff to help the listener out.
Yeah.
But you're the expert.
Well, I'll do my best. Yeah.
Let's dig into this. What is it really like?
So, yeah, it's not just about handing over keys to a tractor.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking to farmers, you're figuring out their needs,
Right.
recommending the right piece of equipment, sometimes from a massive inventory,
Right.
and then explaining contracts, explaining insurance, even making sure they can operate it safely.
Wow.
It's a huge responsibility.
So you're not just like a rental agent, you're like an agricultural equipment consultant.
Very much, very much.
But with all that responsibility, you've got to be super organized.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's something that really, that stood out to me.
Oh, really?
Just how much meticulous documentation is required.
Really?
Think about, every tractor, every tiller, every single piece of equipment has to be tracked.
Which means documenting each rental,
Yeah.
Initial agreement, the insurance details, payment schedule.
Oh, wow.
Even a system for managing overdue rentals.
Oh, I bet that's fun.
Not always, but,
It's like high-stakes Tetris almost.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Keeping everything organized.
Wow. So attention to detail is really, really key.
Absolutely.
It's more than just paperwork too, right?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Because you're talking about like a combine harvester.
Right.
That's a huge investment. Someone's renting that.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need accurate records of its usage, maintenance, any damage, all of that.
For insurance.
Exactly, yeah. Makes total sense.
Right.
And speaking of things that make a lot of sense, one of the things that jumped out at me from the source material here is technology.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not all just wrenches and grease anymore, is it?
Not at all.
What's the role of technology in this kind of position?
Well, we're talking online rental platforms.
Right.
Where farmers can go online and browse what's available.
Reserve equipment, just like that.
Right from their phone.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We're also talking GPS tracking.
Oh, interesting.
Real-time monitoring of the equipment location.
Sure.
The usage, even maintenance needs in some cases.
Wow.
So
not only do you need to know the ins and outs of the equipment,
right.
but you need to be a little tech savvy too.
It's a blend of, old school know-how and cutting edge tech.
That's fascinating. I'm starting to see why somebody requested a deep dive on this. It's really interesting.
Yeah, it's a fascinating field.
Okay, so the day-to-day, but what about the career path itself? Where do you even begin?
Well, typically you start as a trainee.
Okay, so you're brand new, you're just starting out.
Yeah.
What does a trainee actually do?
Well, you're learning the ropes.
Right.
You're shadowing experienced representatives.
Right.
And yeah, you're getting your hands dirty, sometimes literally, with the equipment.
So it's very hands-on.
Very hands-on.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm?
You're not just fetching coffee and making copies.
Right. No.
You're getting right into the thick.
Right away.
And our source even had a little sample profile
Oh, interesting.
of a typical trainee.
Okay.
And it's interesting because they're not just looking for somebody who's, a gearhead necessarily.
Right.
They're looking for somebody with a thirst for knowledge.
Right.
Strong communication skills.
Yeah, makes sense.
You got to be able to talk to people.
Yeah.
So someone who's eager to learn, not afraid to kind of roll up their sleeves and get in there.
Absolutely.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, I wouldn't know a tractor from, a combine.
Right.
If you've got that enthusiasm and that willingness to learn, you can go far.
Absolutely.
Okay? But you're not a trainee forever.
Right.
You gain experience, you gain that knowledge, you put in the work.
You get that promotion.
What's the next step?
You become a full-fledged rental service representative.
Okay, you're official.
Yeah.
You've got the title.
You got it.
And that's where things, I imagine, get really exciting.
It does.
So you've been a trainee, you've learned the ropes.
Right.
Now you're the rental service representative.
Exactly. Right. What's different?
Now the farmers are coming to you for the expert advice.
Oh, okay.
You're not just like handing over keys anymore.
Right.
You're helping them choose the right equipment.
Okay.
Navigating contracts.
Right.
Even troubleshooting if something comes up.
So you're like the agricultural equipment whisperer.
That's a good way to put it.
But seriously, that's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
What kind of stood out to you about this stage from the research we did?
Well, the source we're looking at, it described it as like successfully facilitating equipment rentals.
Okay.
And I think that's really it.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you need to understand the equipment.
Right.
But you need those people skills.
Oh, that.
Think about it.
Huh.
A farmer, they're facing a tight deadline.
Right.
The weather's not cooperating, who knows?
Sure.
And their harvester breaks down.
Oh, they're stressed.
Yeah.
You got to provide a solution, but also, like, you got to have empathy.
Right, you can't just be like, well, that's your problem.
Exactly.
Should have read the contract.
Yeah, right.
You're not going to get very far like that.
No.
So grace under pressure is a big part of this.
Huge, huge.
Okay.
And, you're
Yeah.
dealing with valuable assets.
Right.
So you got to be firm,
Yeah.
but also flexible.
Oh, how so?
Because things happen.
On a farm all the time.
Oh, yeah, constantly.
Right.
You might have to, like, adjust a rental agreement last minute,
Oh, wow.
coordinate a delivery,
Right?
maybe even, like, talk a farmer through a minor repair over the phone.
Oh, wow. So you got to be like a mechanic, too.
Sometimes.
Wow.
It's all part of the job.
I bet a good sense of humor doesn't hurt.
Oh, it helps. Definitely helps.
So being able to, like, think on your feet,
Yeah.
problem solve,
Yeah.
adapt,
Huge part of it. Yep.
and if you can handle all that,
Oh.
our source said it can be really rewarding. It can, because you're not just renting a piece of equipment.
Right.
You're like part of this whole thing.
You're part of the success
Yeah.
of these farms.
Of the food they're producing.
Absolutely.
Wow.
You're a problem solver.
Yeah.
A trusted advisor.
Yeah.
Really, a vital part of that whole agricultural ecosystem.
That's got to be a good feeling.
It is. It is.
Knowing you're contributing to something important like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But for those who want to keep climbing the ladder,
Right.
it doesn't end there, does it?
It doesn't.
Tell me about that senior rental service representative.
Okay, so that's where you start to bring in the leadership
Oh, okay.
and the strategic thinking.
Interesting, okay.
It's not just individual rentals anymore.
Right.
You're thinking about
The big picture.
a whole operation.
Okay, so like, what does that actually look like day to day?
Well, you walk in,
Yeah.
you're not just checking if they have enough tractors.
Right.
You're analyzing rental data
Okay.
from the past quarter.
Well, looking for trends?
Right.
Maybe you're mentoring some junior staff.
Oh, wow. So you're wearing a lot of hats.
You really are. Yeah.
Mentor, analyst,
Yep.
strategist.
That's all.
Our source mentions something about a proven track record
Oh,
in managing rental operations.
yeah. You got to have that.
What does that even mean, though?
It means you've shown you can handle the day-to-day stuff,
Right.
but also that you can think critically about the whole thing.
So you're not just showing up.
Right.
You're actually making things better.
Exactly.
Solving problems, improving things.
You got to prove yourself.
For anyone who is thinking long-term about this kind of career,
Yeah.
what would you say based on all this?
Take initiative.
Oh, okay.
Don't just wait for someone to tell you what to do.
Right?
Look for opportunities to learn and grow.
Okay, so like what would that look like practically?
Maybe you volunteer to analyze some rental data,
Okay.
or you come up with a new training program.
Yeah, interesting. For new hires, or you shadow a senior representative.
I like it.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Those are good because then you're not just like
Right, you're not just clocking in and clocking out.
Yeah.
You're actually showing that you care.
that you want to move up.
Exactly.
Okay, so we talked about the trainee, the rental service representative,
Right.
the senior rental service representative.
Yep. Yeah,
But there's one more, right?
one more.
The big kahuna,
Okay, what?
the rental service manager. The rental service manager. Now we're into like the executive suite of farm equipment, right?
Yeah, they're the ones setting the strategy for the whole operation.
Okay, so it's a big picture job.
It is. It is big time. Managing the budget, making sure the team's hitting their targets.
Okay.
They might be negotiating contracts with, like, the big suppliers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they got to analyze those market trends.
To like know what to expect, what people are going to need.
Exactly. You got to anticipate that demand and always looking for ways to make things more efficient.
Right, because time is money.
Absolutely. And of course, you got to keep those customers happy.
Customer satisfaction, that's huge in any business, really.
Oh, yeah, it makes all the difference.
So you're not just a farm equipment expert at this point.
Right.
You've got to be a business person, too.
You got to have that business sense, definitely.
Our sources make it pretty clear this is not an easy job,
No, definitely not.
but potentially a really rewarding one, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But let's rewind a little bit. For those who are just starting out,
Yeah,
maybe they're not ready to be the manager yet.
right.
What advice do we have from our sources for just getting started in this field?
Internships, internships, internships.
Okay, so get that experience.
Hands-on experience is invaluable.
Makes sense?
You get to learn from people who've been doing it for years.
Right.
And this is a big one. You make those
Well,
connections.
the networking.
It's huge in this field, knowing the right people.
Like that old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
But I feel like in this field, it's kind of both.
You got to have both, you're right.
You got to have the knowledge, A&D, the connections.
Yep.
And our sources mentioned something else, too. Professional organizations.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
Like what?
Well, like the American Rental Association, that's a big one.
Okay.
Or you could subscribe to industry magazines.
Okay, so you're up on all the latest and greatest.
Exactly. New equipment, new technologies, you name it.
So it's kind of like having a cheat sheet almost for your career.
It really is. It gives you a leg up.
Okay, so you've gotten the internship, you've joined the organizations,
Right.
you're ready to apply for your dream job. Gotta have that resume, though.
Oh, that resume. Got to make it shine.
What should people focus on?
Highlight those skills.
Okay, like what?
Customer service, communication, problem solving.
Being organized, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Even if you didn't learn it working with farm equipment.
So like if you worked in a restaurant, that still counts.
It does, because you're dealing with people, you're handling stressful situations.
Right, you're thinking on your feet.
Exactly. Don't underestimate those experiences.
And a cover letter, I imagine that's important thing.
Oh, for sure. That's where you get to personalize things a bit.
Okay, so like how would you do that?
Well, let's say you grew up on a farm.
Okay.
Mention that. That shows you have a connection to this world.
It shows passion.
Exactly. Or even if you just volunteered at a farmer's market, something like that.
It makes you stand out,
It shows them you're not just applying to any job.
that you care about this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the day-to-day all the way up to becoming the manager.
And everything in between.
But I want to go back to those transferable skills one last time.
Oh, they're so important.
Because, yeah, you're learning them for this job,
Right.
but they apply to so many other things, too.
Absolutely. This industry is changing all the time.
Right. New technologies, new ways of farming.
The economy, the environment, it all plays a role.
So you have to be ready for anything.
You got to be adaptable, got to be a problem solver.
And those are skills you can take anywhere.
Any job, any field, any industry.
So it's not just about renting tractors, is it?
It's about so much more than that.
It's about building a skill set that prepares you for really anything.
And that's something we can all benefit from,
I like that.
no matter what you want to do with your life.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to wrap up.
I agree. This has been fun.
It has. So to our listener, the one who requested this deep dive,
Right. Thank you.
we hope this has answered your questions.
And more importantly, that it's inspired you.
Because this is a fascinating field, and you can be a part of it.
Absolutely. The future of agriculture is wide open.
That's right. So get out there and make it happen.
Until next time.
Keep learning and keep exploring all the amazing opportunities out there.